So students, in this video we are going to see the next allowance, that is the shake allowance and the distortion allowance. These two allowance we are going to see in this video. Now see here students, I will show you the diagram. This is our pattern, and using this pattern we are preparing the mold. Okay, now see, the important thing is that the sand is having adhesion property. Sand is having adhesion property, that is the ability to have the bond formation between the other materials. Okay, say in respect to the sand, there are the patterns, there are the mold boxes which are in contact with the sand, and sand is having the adhesion property. Because of that reason, sand is sticking to the pattern or to the mold boxes. Okay, now see here, why we are going to provide this shake allowance. The thing is that, say when the molding is over and when we want to lift the pattern, so what happened, because sand is having the adhesion property, so sand is going to adhere to this pattern material. Okay, and when we are lifting the pattern, it is sticking to the sand and it is coming out with the sand. Okay, so if the sand stick to this pattern and coming out with this, so definitely it will going to damage the mold surface that we have made just now, isn't it? So to avoid this, what the mold maker is doing, so after lifting to a certain height, so whatever the sand is adhered to this pattern, to keep this sand or to place that sand to its proper position, so it is the mold maker is shaking this mold for some amount. Okay, so what happened, because shaking of this pattern, whatever the sand is come out from the mold surface is again going to that position and settle down there, so no any damage to the mold occur. But what happened, because of this shaking of this pattern, this mold cavity, if you talk about the sand molding, is a green sand molding, it's soft and easily deformed. So what happened, because of this shaking, there will be the enlargement in the mold cavity. Okay, so because of this shaking, there may be this enlargement into the cavity, and enlargement into the cavity, definitely it is changing the size of mold cavity, and if the mold cavity size is changing, the casting size is going to change, and that is not allowed actually, isn't it? So what is mold maker is doing here, so he is giving this shake allowance such that the mold cavity becomes the lesser in size, smaller in size, or negative in size than the required one, isn't it? So because of this shake allowance, the cavity becomes small. Okay, and after shaking is done, so because of shaking, the mold is going to expand or going to bigger in size, so it will go and get the correct size, isn't it? So this is the shake allowance. So making the mold cavity smaller than the required one by an amount of shake allowance is doing by the mold maker. And see, like we studied the shrinkage allowance, we studied the machining allowance, taper allowance, the shake allowance is not having any kind of formula, not even the empirical relation or rules. It is entirely dependent upon the mold maker. Mold maker will going to decide what should be the shake allowance we have to keep in particular mold making. Okay, so there is no any formula for the shake allowance. It is totally dependent on the mold maker. Mold maker will decide the value of shake allowance. And the thing is that, because provision of the shake allowance, the cavity become less, definitely this is negative allowance. Initially we are keeping it small, and because of shaking it is getting bigger in size to the required size of casting. So the question in previous GATE examination was asked, which one of the following allowance is also known as the negative allowance? So which allowance? Shake allowance is the negative allowance. Why it is negative? Because the size of the cavity becomes smaller than the required one, and when it is get to the correct size after that shaking. So this is the negative allowance. Please remember, shake allowance is the negative allowance. Very important thing. And what is formula? No formula. So it is entirely depends upon मोल्ड मेकर. जो मोल्ड बना रहा है वही डिसाइड करेगा उसकी वैल्यू. ओके, बेस्ड अपॉन हिज नॉलेज, हिज स्किल एंड एक्सपीरियंस, he will decide the value of shake allowance. Okay, so next allowance that we are going to see after shake allowance, the next allowance, that is the fifth allowance, is the distortion allowance. The distortion or warpage allowance. See, what is the distortion allowance? It is a special category of shrinkage allowance. Okay, it's a kind of shrinkage allowance only. So whenever we are casting with a thin U, V or dome shaped or flat plate castings, so there we require this distortion allowance, where whenever we are casting with U, V, U-shaped, V-shaped, dome-shaped or flat plate castings, and the thickness of casting is very less. Okay, thin-legged U, V, dome shaped, or we are having flat plates. Whenever we are doing casting of such a shapes, the distortion allowance is used. Okay, so see here why this distortion is occurring during the casting. So here this distortion is occurring because of the metallostatic forces, or simply I can say because of the shrinkage forces during the casting process. The shape is getting distorted. Okay, so suppose if I take the U shape, okay, I want such a type of casting. So what happened? So during the casting of such a shape, during the operation, because of the shrinkage force or the metallostatic forces, this shape is going to distort like this, or the warpage is there, isn't it? So distortion is occurred here. So to avoid this warpage, to avoid this distortion, what we are doing, we are providing this distortion allowance. So what the distortion allowance actually we are doing here? See, so we are intentionally bend or flex this portion before doing the casting. Okay, so see, I am intentionally bending this, see, by an amount of, say, distortion allowance. Okay, so intentionally bending or flecking of this shape, so that during the process, of course, metallostatic forces will occur, the shrinkage forces will occur, and the component is getting distorted. Okay, the shape is getting distorted and it will come to this position, and this is what? This is our required position or required shape, isn't it? So in this fashion, we are providing the distortion allowance. The distortion allowance is a category of shrinkage allowance only. Only it is given on the special shapes like U, V, dome, flat plates, where the distortion is occurring because of the metallostatic forces. Okay, and this distortion allowance is basically depend upon the L by T ratio. The L by T ratio is what? L is the length of the casting and T is the thickness of the casting. Say this is thickness of the casting. Okay, so this is the thickness. Okay, so L by T ratio. As the L by T ratio more, the distortion is more. See, as this ratio, when this ratio is maximum, when this thickness is minimum and length is maximum. Okay, thin legged components. So distortion allowance is basically depend upon this L by T ratio. As L by T ratio increases, distortion allowance also increases. Understood? So this is about distortion allowance. So dear students, till now we have seen all the kinds of allowances which are used in the pattern making. The first allowance we seen the shrinkage allowance, we seen how to apply the shrinkage allowance, we seen the numericals on it, then we understood about the machining allowance. Again we see how to provide that machining allowance, we solved some examples, and then we saw the draft and taper allowance, the shake allowance, and this is the distortion allowance. Okay, now one thing I want to make it clear here. Now see, if in the numerical you are given with the shrinkage allowance and the machining allowance, both are togetherly, and they are asking for the what is the final dimension of the pattern after provision of the shrinkage and machining allowance. Now in this case, which allowance we have to put at the first time on the pattern and which is the last? So dear students, please remember that always we have to provide the machining allowance first. Okay, we have to provide the machining allowance first, and on that sides we have to provide the shrinkage allowance. Okay, why this is so? So this is the reason that whenever you are having the machining allowance onto the sides, onto the dimension, that machining allowance is also going to shrink. Understood what I am saying? So machining allowance is also going to shrink, so that whenever we are having the dimensions including the machining allowance, so that in that total dimension we can able to give the correct shrinkage allowance and we can get the exact required sizes of the pattern. So please remember, whenever the shrinkage allowance and machining allowance are togetherly given in the numerical, first provide the machining allowance on the dimension, then provide, and on that dimension you have to provide the shrinkage allowance. Okay, let us take one example so that it is clear. So say I am having this cylindrical pattern. Okay, so the diameter of the pattern is say 100 and the length is say 200 mm, and this is not hollow, this is solid. Okay, so here the shrinkage allowance is given as the 2% over a dimension, and machining allowance is given as 2 mm per side. Okay, so machining allowance is how it is given? It is given as millimeter per side. Shrinkage allowance either it is given in percentage or it is in millimeter per meter. Okay, so what is the length and diameter of pattern? This is the question. Now as I told you, which allowance we have to first take and which allowance is taken next. Okay, so this is the question I already told you. So if I directly provide say shrinkage allowance first on this length 200 mm and diameter 100 mm, so what will happen? So the dimensions after getting shrinkage allowance we get, but when you provide this 2 mm machining allowance on the dimension which is come after provision of shrinkage allowance, that is the final value, but that machining allowance is also going to shrink. Please remember, this machining allowance is also going to shrink after the casting is solidified. So who will take that responsibility for this machining allowance, isn't it? So for that reason, I have told you that whenever these two allowances are given togetherly, first by default you can have the machining allowance first, and then on that dimension you can provide the shrinkage allowance. Let us solve this. So let us take the L is how much? 200 mm. So from this side and from this side, external dimension, so machining allowance 2 times, that is 2 mm, 2 mm. So it is 204 mm. What is diameter? 100 mm. Okay, so it is going to shrink. That's why we have to add the material, that is it is machining. So you know how to provide for the bore or for the cylindrical dimension machining allowance also for 2 times. So 2 into 2, that is 104 millimeter. So this is what we provide machining allowance first, and finally we will provide the shrinkage allowance on this dimension, so that this extra 4 millimeter can be compensated for the shrinkage, isn't it? So after provision of shrinkage allowance, length becomes what? 204 plus 204 into 2 by 100 is equal to, and diameter is equal to 100 plus 100 into 2 by 100. So 2%, na? So tell me what is the answer. So this is 204 divided by 50. So this is 208.08 mm, and this will be 102. So I hope you get the thing. This is our final dimension of the pattern. This is our final dimension. This is not. First we have provided machining allowance. On that dimension we have provided the shrinkage allowance, because reason is what? This machining allowance is also going to shrink. So on that dimension we have provided the shrinkage allowance. I hope it is clear. Thank you so much.